will optimize parts in the most efficient manner to work on a vertical panel saw. I'm going to back up just for a moment and say once again, those of you in the first session have already heard some of this, but just so you know who we are, Colonial Saw is the exclusive North American importer and distributor for STRIEBIG vertical panel saws, has been for over 40 years, going back to the 1970s. We're a family-owned business and have operations on both East and West Coast. This is our main facility in Kingston, Massachusetts, where every STRIEBIG comes from Switzerland through these doors and out to our customers across North America. Our office in California is manned by Carl Fry on the sales ends of things, both for STRIEBIG and Lamello, and Carl Mintier, our longtime technician on both STRIEBIGs and grinders, and Eddie Morales, our newest technician out there in the California office. So that's who we are. We sell STRIEBIG panel saws through our dealer network throughout North America. If you don't know who your local STRIEBIG dealer is, we'll fix that. Contact us and we'll let you know who the local STRIEBIG rep is in your area. But let's move on a little bit to the optimization, the reason you tuned in. And STRIEBIG has 3 product offerings regarding optimization. They have the first one I want to discuss. Well, I'll introduce the first 2 and we'll get back to them. 2 of them, the BaseCut and the ExpertCut, only apply to the control model specifically, to my left, your right there. Those 2, they're not available for other machines, and we'll talk about why. The one that is universal in nature and can apply to any STRIEBIG machine out there is this unit right here. It's called the OptiDivide. It is a self-contained 12-inch touchscreen backed by an industrial quality PC and a label printer in a pull-out drawer here. It's a Zebra label printer. Little stylus here to operate the touchscreen with you. That's included. It is the program itself is a full-blown optimization program with lots and lots of capabilities, some of which you probably will never use, but it's there and available for you. It also includes a WLAN connection so that you can, with a license, I should say, for a seat in the office, so you can do all of your programming in the office, save it in a file folder, wirelessly transmit that information to the unit. The operator out at the saw simply goes into that folder on your server, calls up the job, and starts to process the job from the saw. It is going to, I'll back up a step here. Obviously, because it is a self-contained unit and is attached to the saw, at any point in time, it's not communicating with the saw in any way. It's not going to tell the saw what to do. That is those packages I mentioned earlier for the control model. But it is going to walk the operator through the cut sequence, cut by cut, telling him what dimension to set either his measuring stop, his right to left measuring stop for a vertical cut, or what height to put the saw head at to make a horizontal cut, and it'll tell him the order in which to do that. So it basically takes the thinking part out of the operator's hands and how to optimize the sheet. He will have the choice, or you have the choice, when you're doing the list, the program in the office. You can either choose to optimize that list in the office or just save it in a file and allow him to call up the job and optimize the job here at the screen. Okay. The label printer you can either choose to print labels or not choose to print labels. You can choose to print labels one piece at a time, one finished part at a time, or for an entire sheet. You can print the entire label list and go back later and label those parts. That label printing feature is again a full-blown label printing feature. You can have as much information on there as you can possibly want, describing obviously the size of the part, the location of the part in the job, the name of the job, edge banding details. If you want, you can put boring information on it for machines further down the line. That is totally within your control. Mary, let's see if we can get a little bit closer shot of the screen here. Oh, we got a question. All right, we'll take, yeah, I'm sorry. And I meant to, before we even get to that question, let me just announce that, yeah, we certainly want to take and answer any questions we possibly can here during the presentation. So use your Q&A button at the bottom of the screen to enter a question and we will answer it for you.
Does the OptiDivide take grain direction into consideration when optimizing?
Does it take grain direction into optimizing? Yes, it certainly can. You have that ability on any of the optimization programs to take grain direction into account. And some of it's a simple question: is the part rotatable or not? So, yes, absolutely. Again, it's a full-blown optimization program with capabilities beyond what you can probably even imagine. Multiple materials within a single job can be accommodated for. Again, sizing the parts to allow for edge banding downstream is part of the capability of the system. So it is really a full-featured optimization program. So, any other questions at the moment, Mary?
Yes. How much does the OptiDivide system cost?
Oh, wow! Right to the punch, huh? How much is the OptiDivide? $79.50 for the whole self-contained unit. It is, I neglected to mention that it can go with any STRIEBIG machine. It mounts to only certain machines built within the last 15, 16 years for the most part. Compact models, it can go on a compact model for sure, but that compact model, this bracket will only fit compacts from 2004 and newer. Same standard machines, 2005 and newer. Any evolution or control ever made can be mounted to it. That's really its only limitation, is this mounting bracket. So if you're a little bit creative, you can probably fasten it to any STRIEBIG, literally out there. So yeah, if worst case scenario, you roll it around in a cart and next to the machine if you can't figure out how to attach it yourself. But you guys are clever guys, so I'm sure you can. Mary, let's get a little bit closer look at the screen here if we can. Let's see if we keep the glare out. Yeah, good. I think we got it. I'm going to call up a sample folder here. Let's see. There's a job. Okay. It might be out of an unusual size sheet for us in North America here, but anyway, if we start to process this sheet, it's going to, let's see, I'm going to exit out of there. Let me find a different job here, Chris. Maybe I might, why am I in the OptiLight, Chris? Uh, okay, there we go. There, that's what I wanted to do. Sorry. There we go. That's the job I was originally looking for. Sometimes it takes me a bit to get there since I don't do this every single day. Anyway, this is a sample job I was looking for. There, as an example, you can see that it's asking me to set the saw to 79 and 0.276 inches. That's my saw head height. Obviously, that's taller than the machine that you saw me working on in the background. If I want to go to the next, if I've made that trim cut at the top of that sheet, my next cut, it's saying it wants to cut this top strip of material off the top and set my saw head height, in this case, to 57.791 inches. You will find that in using this system, it will be handy to have digital measuring on your STRIEBIG saw because it's going to display things. If we're working in inches, it's going to display it in 3 decimal points of inches. It's not going to display it in fractions. So it will be helpful to have digital measuring in both directions. Otherwise, it's going to be very hard for an operator to use his conversion chart and try to get that to a fraction. So. But my next cut, I can just go to in sequence here. It's going to tell me to rip that other strip at such and such a height, 34.988. Without my glasses, that's what I think I read. And continue on and continue on. It basically told me that I don't have enough room to cut that bottom strip with the saw head all the way at the bottom. And I probably wouldn't want to do that anyway, but it's instructing me, it knows the saw's limitations and that it can only cut so close to the rollers. So it tells me to turn the strip and won't let me do anything until I confirm that I've indeed flipped that bottom piece around. Then it tells me to make my finish dimension cut at 29.465 inches. I make that cut. If I go to my next one, we're going to start processing that last final strip. We've taken the other ones, we've removed them from the saw, and we're going to process this last bottom strip, starting with vertical cuts. There's my trim cut on the left edge of the sheet. Yes, it tells me to set the stop at a certain dimension, but that's the one you don't really need to pay attention to. That dimension is meaningless. We know we're just making a trim cut. But the next one will be critical. It tells you to set the stop at 47.087 inches. Cut that part. Watch what happens. You see that it's turned orangish on the display. If I have my label printing active, it will actually print apart once that part turns green. And then this is kind of an unusual strip here. It's going to actually ask me to size that strip down a little farther for the next part. Trim it, turn the head back over to horizontal, or to vertical, I'm sorry. Make that finish cut part. Again, print a label if I so choose or not. I can turn it on, turn it off. It even wants me to step this thing down even further. Trim it, cut it to length, trim it, cut it to length. And then we're done with that strip. And then it's going to go up to the next, that narrow strip that we took off next to last. And we're going to start processing that the same way, on and on and on throughout the sheet. Okay, thanks, Mary. So that's the gist of it. It's instructing the operator how to process that sheet and what to set the dimensions to. It's optimized it, and you can choose to optimize for yield or for time, or a combination of the two. So if you have a very expensive material, you'd obviously optimize for yield. If you're just cutting, plain 3/4 inch white melamine, you may choose to optimize for time. So you have all that capability within the STRIEBIG cut optimization program. Okay, so that's the OptiDivide. It can go on any saw. It's not communicating with the saw, but it is instructing the operator on how to do the cutting. Let's move over to the control for a minute, and we'll talk about the other two optimization options for this machine. They go under the name BaseCut and ExpertCut. Really, they're both packages of both hardware and software. The only difference between the two packages is the software. The BaseCut is a very, very simple optimization program that the operator enters the information at the touchscreen on the saw. There is no license for a program to create lists in the office. Okay, it's designed to be used at the saw. Don't really anticipate selling too many BaseCut optimization packages for not much more money. Really, the ExpertCut package software is the same full-blown software that we saw just a minute ago on the OptiDivide, but on the control, so you have the license to do all that work in the office, send it out to the saw, and have the operator just call it up. Having your operator spend time entering line by line the parts that he needs cut, you know, on a very short list, maybe that your boss comes out and asks you to cut these 4 parts out of this one piece, you can still use that when you have ExpertCut. You can still use that very simple cut optimization program. We refer to it as OptiLite on the control panel. So you have that capability, but for larger jobs that, you know, you don't want the operator typing in line by line all of the parts that he needs to then optimize and cut. So ExpertCut is almost, you know, 9 times out of 10 or better going to be the way to go on the control. But the package the hardware that I referred to that's included in either of these packages on the control include the most notable thing expense-wise would be the EPS-X, the motorized stop X-axis. If you tuned in to our earlier session today, I mentioned that EPS is available as an option all by itself on the control, but it is included in either one of those optimization packages, okay? Because on this saw, the optimization package is going to communicate with the saw. It's right in the control panel there, and it's controlled by the same 12-inch touchscreen that comes standard on the machine, same touchscreen that's over there on the OptiDivide, but it's standard and built into the machine anyway. Besides the EPS motorized stop, which is going to go into position automatically once you're following an optimized cut sequence, it also includes this other feature that originated at the 4D model above this one. We call it automatic saw beam positioning, or ASP, where you can, if you're in a manual mode, you can tell the saw beam what station to go to lock in. I just told it to go to cut station number 3. It went there, locked in automatically. When you're using either the BaseCut or the ExpertCut optimization program, it's going to do that automatically during the sequence, and it's going to pick the correct station for it to go to. If you're cutting an extra long part beyond the length capability from cut station number 3, it's going to go and automatically go to cut station number 4 or number 5 on this machine. It will know that from the optimization program. Okay, so the automatic saw beam positioning feature, and the program, and the license for the seat in the office. I'm going to call Chris up here because he's more of an expert at the STRIEBIG cut optimization program than I am even. and have him run through a cut sequence. He's going to call up a job that's we've already got in the folder here, and watch how the saw goes through the process of cutting that job, and you'll see the saw operate automatically. So Chris, go right ahead. Chris doesn't have a microphone, so I'm gonna speak for him. Go ahead, Chris. We don't have. We even took the saw blade off and the dust collector off just so we could hear better as the machine's running through its process. And so we're not actually going to be cutting a sheet, but you're going to get the sense of how this would go through the cutting process here. Go ahead, Chris. So first he goes from manual mode, where the picture of the hand on that switch, to the gear picture, which is the CNC mode, okay, or the optimization mode. That's the first thing he does. And then you see some folders along the bottom. He goes into the folders. We've got a few of them up there. He's going to pick one, confirm that job. Yes, it opens up. It's a very simple little cutting pattern, but it will be good for demonstration purposes here. So he's going to go ahead and start that sequence. Okay. You want to print a couple labels while we're at it here too, Chris? Okay. Okay. Yeah. So he just enabled the label printer, and checking to make sure that our label printer is. There we go. Is properly printing. Okay. Oh, he just okay. He chose to print the whole job, I guess, or that whole sheet. Okay. Okay. So let's have it just kind of run through the sequence.
Yep.
Here, Chris.
So that's an example of printing them all at once.
Okay. That was that example. Oh, okay.
And so you'll see now once we finish.
So to start the sequence, the flashing blue start button indicates that the saw is ready. As soon as we're ready, we confirm that by hitting either one. One's on the saw head, one's on the control panel. They both do the same thing. It's going to already, it's asking us to turn the saw on, so we're going to go ahead and do that. And I'm going to back up a little bit just to make sure you can all still hear me. And it's saying, okay, I'm ready to make the first cut. I've already gone to the correct height. And I'm going to speed that up, Chris. That's a relatively conservative feed speed we had going there. But Chris can actually change that feed speed on the fly here, okay? It's going to say that it's ready to go to the next position. So it's going to finish cut that strip width first. As soon as he gets the green, or green, the white, I'm ready to go button flashes. And he is going to take that piece off, set it aside, okay? It told him to engage the center shelf, which he just did, and to flip the panel because that last dimension, just like our earlier example, is too close to the rollers or the center shelf. So he flips it, upside down, if you will. It goes to the proper dimension on its own, 15.945 in this example. And it's going to give him the ready to cut button, and he does that. Okay, that's good. He makes that cut. He's going to trick the machine to, yeah, there you go. The machine does naturally, the standard feature of it, find the end of the panel and stop at the end of the panel. We just tricked it right there to, because we don't have a panel, it would have gone all the way to the far right end of the saw. So now he's cut that strip, and now the machine is telling him to go to cross-cut mode. It already goes into cross-cut mode for him. and positions itself at the top of the sheet because it knows the height of that strip. So it's saying make a trim cut. You gotta make that trim cut first, I think, Chris. So he's positioning that thing to make the trim cut. And there it goes. That's just a waste piece. It comes back up because we've got it in full cycle mode. It comes right back up to the top of that part and no higher, that strip. The EPS, if you saw that, just moved over to the proper length position. Chris goes ahead and makes that cross cut. I could see that this strip gets narrower in width, so it's going to automatically switch over to horizontal cutting. Don't worry about the labels yet, but maybe the next part. So we go to horizontal cutting, and it tells him to go ahead and go. No. He tricks it. It's going to only... So it goes into vertical position. The stop moved. Again, you got to be quick to kind of see that. It's doing a couple of things at the same time. It goes to the correct height to start the cut because it knows the top of that strip. Okay. Now let's print a label just to show them. You want to print a label? Yeah. So it goes to the next part. There we go. All right. And he confirms the cut, tells it to go. It prints. I mean, Chris isn't actually cutting any material, but you can tell that he's not working all that hard, is he? All right, Chris, I think that's good. That gives us all the gist of it. But it's going to, after it finishes processing that strip, it's going to go ask him to retrieve the strip that he removed earlier and go ahead and process that one. I'm sure it will tell him to keep put that strip back up on the center shelf here and go until he's finished with the entire job. So obviously a step up from the OptiDivide in that in communicating with the saw, it's going to do all that setup work for you and instruct you when you do need to make a step, like pulling out or engaging the center shelf fingers to put a smaller, narrower part up top, or to flip the panel because the next cut is too close to the center shelf fingers or the rollers. So it's gonna take all that into account for you. So those are the packages available for the control-specific model, the BaseCut and the ExpertCut. Again, I think the ExpertCut is going to be much more applicable to most everybody out there. The BaseCut is really just one material jobs, very simple cut patterns that the operator can enter the parts line by line. So you probably wouldn't want to have him enter any more than perhaps 6 different part sizes to use the BaseCut. So only very, very simple type jobs would you buy the BaseCut for. But Mary, do we have any other questions? No questions on this. You guys all got the optimization portion of things just perfectly. Okay. Well, thanks very